All right, so like I promised last week, we are now moving on to a new chapter. So our new chapter that we are going to focus on is going to be radicals, okay? Radical is just fancy for a square root, okay? Radical is fancy for a square root because you could have a third root, a fourth root, a fifth root, a sixth root, a seventh root, okay, which you guys might not know what that looks like right now, which is okay because we're focusing on our square root, okay? So that is what a radical looks like, okay? So that symbol, radical, radical, that symbol, okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to simplify radicals. Now, the great thing about this lesson is it is going to take us back to that 6th and 7th grade concept of finding the prime factorizations, okay? So if you can find a prime factorization of a number, which means you can find the factor tree, okay, which I know all of you can do this, it's the same concept for radicals. So let's do this first one. I have the square root of, let's go with, actually I take it back. Let's go and find all of our perfect ones first because we should know these. So for instance, the square root of 4 simplified is 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. Also known as 2 squared is 4. Okay? Square root of 9, again is perfect, is 3. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 25 is 5. So if I have to guess, all of you can probably simplify right off the bat the first 10 or 11. So next would be square root of 36, then square root of 49, okay, then the square root of 64, then the square root of 81, then the square root of 100, which is 10, okay? So if you ever see these, okay, this is like what we're doing. We are simplifying radicals. So we are no longer going to have these perfect ones. We're going to have one that maybe looks like this. Square root of 20, okay? So without a calculator, we can't shoot out that this is a 4. We also can't shoot out that this is a 5. This is some decimal, okay? The only person, or I should say thing, that's going to know exactly what that is the calculator. So if you type this into the calculator, you're going to get 4 point something, okay? Now, the reason I know you're going to get 4 point something is because 20 is in between 16 and 25, okay? But that really doesn't matter right now. We are just focusing on simplifying this. So the question is, can you break this down without giving me that decimal answer? So like I said, we're going to go to that prime factorization. So we need to find the factor tree of 20. So if you have the factor tree of 20, you're just asking yourself, which two numbers multiply to give you 20? There are multiple different answers, okay? I do not care which answer you go with as long as your factors are true, okay? So what multiplies to 20? 2 and 10. Is 2 broken down? Yep. Is 10 prime? Nope, so we can keep breaking. What multiplies to 10? 2 and 5. Is 2 prime? Yep. 5 prime? Yep, so we can stop. So remember, guys, primes are numbers that can only go into one and themselves. So you're looking for 1, which we won't ever get 1, but 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, okay, 13, 17. Those primes are what you're looking for. So, now that this is completely broken down, the name of the game, since this is a square is 2, you're just looking for pairs, okay? So do you have a pair of primes? Yep, I see 2 5s. So this is the same thing. I can rewrite this as 2 times 2 times 5. Okay? So now, the trick is look for a pair. Do I have a pair? Yep. What's 2 times 2? 4. We already know the square root of 4 is 2, right? So then now, anytime we have a pair, that number is just going to come out front as the coefficient. 2. Do I have a pair for the 5? Nope. So that means it's stuck underneath. Okay? So the square root of 20 simplified is 2 square root 5. Okay? So again, you're just taking the pair and it becomes 1 out front. Okay? The reason it becomes 1 is because 2 times 2 is 4, but the square root of 4 is 2. So rather than multiplying it together and then taking the square root, just make it 1 out front. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's do the square root of, let's go with 30. Okay, so square root 30. Our goal is to simplify this. So first you have to break it down. Find the prime factorization. So I'm going to go with 3 times 10. And I'm going to go with, 2 and 5. Okay, so I have 3 times 2 times 5. Do I have any matches? Nope. So if you don't have any matches, that means that's as far down as it can go. Okay, you cannot break down this radical anymore. So let's try another one. Okay, let's try another one. Let's do the square root of 24. Okay, so your goal is to just try to find the factor tree. So 24, break it down. Again, you can break it down by whatever you want. So I'm going to go with 6 and 4, because 6 times 4 is 24. And then I'm going to break 6 to 2 and 3. And 2 and 3 are prime, so I'm done. Okay, so remember, this 2 and 3, it's like that 6 is actually gone. Okay, and then the 4 breaks to 2 and 2, so now it's like the 4 is not there. So all 4 of these are prime. So I'm left with 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. Okay, now find some pairs. Do you have any pairs? I see a pair of 2s. Oh, pair of 2s. That means 1 2 is going to go out front. There's no pair for this 2, and there's nothing that matches this 3. So it's just simply stuck underneath. So what's 2 times 3? 6. So square root of 24 is the exact same thing as 2 times the square root 6. So guys, every time you have a pair, it just goes out front as 1. Okay? Let's do another one. This is going to kind of take some repetition for you to get this. Okay? But I promise it's very doable. Okay, so we did that one. Let's do 300. Alright, so let's break 300. Okay, what goes into 300? So 3 and 100. Let's do 25 and 4. Let's do 5 and 5. And the 4 breaks to 2 and 2. So this is the same thing as 3 times 5 times 5 times 2 times 2. We're not going to include the 4 or the 25 because we broke those numbers. It's like they're gone. Okay, you only are looking at your primes. So now go back and hunt for pairs. Uh-oh, I have a pair of 5. Boom, that's a whole 5 out front. I have a pair of 2s. That's a 2 out front. Do I have a match for my 3 under there? Nope. So my radical 3 is stuck. Now out front I have 5 times 2. Okay, there is no adding, none whatsoever. Okay, everything is multiplication. So 5 times 2 is 10. So square root 300 reduces to 10 square root 3. Okay, so you're just looking for pairs to bump out front. Okay, let's try another one. Rather than erasing, let's just move over. So now, what happens if I already have a whole number out front? Okay, does it change or does it not change? So what if I have 2 square root of 18? Okay, so I have 2 times the square root of 18. So our goal is to still take this guy, okay, take this guy and break him down. So what goes into 18? 9 and 2, and then 9 breaks to 3 and 3. Okay, so now I have all primes at the bottom, so this is as far down as it can go. So square root 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. So look for a pair. Do you see a pair? Yep, there's a pair of 3s, so the 3 is just going to go out front. Do I have a match for my 2? No. Well, that's going to stay. So square root 18 is 3 times radical 2. But I have to bring down this 2. So now it's like I have 2 times 3. So what is 2 times 3? 6 radical 2. So 2, okay, just think of it as multiplication if you want. 2 times radical 18 is equal to 6 radical 2. Okay, let's try another one with a coefficient already starting out front. Let's do 4 radical 27. So again, this is in front, so it's just like we're multiplying, so you can think of that if you want. So we have to break down the radical 27. Okay, so I always just do this, I don't know why, just as an organizer to organize myself, I guess. Break 27. So what does 27 break to? 27 breaks to 3 and 9, and 9 breaks to 3 and 3. Okay, so this is the same thing as 3 times 3 times 3. Look for a pair. Do you see a pair? Yep, so a 3 goes out front. So again, the reason why it's just 1 3 going out front, guys, is because 3 times 3 is 9. And the square root of 9 is just 3. Okay, so you only carry out 1 3. And then this is stuck underneath the radical. So radical 27 is 3 radical 3. But now, I just have to multiply by the 4. So you multiply the number out front. Do not touch the number that's under the radical. Okay, so this is the same thing as 12 radical 3. Okay, 12 radical 3. Okay, so I think we should be okay for you to complete your first lesson. So the first lesson this week is just numbers, okay? No variables. That's going to be the second part of this week. So the next video that you're going to watch is going to have the variables. So your activity for this, okay, is to do the drag and match. You're going to have a radical and you're going to match its simplified version and just pull it underneath, okay? Email me if you have any questions.